Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about GTX 1080 Ti, which we are expecting to probably see sometime around CES in 2017, and the same exact thing could be said for AMD's Vega architecture. If you remember, just last week there was a leak surrounding AMD's Vega graphics card, which they had shown off running on things like Star Wars Battlefront as well as Doom in 4K using the Vulkan API. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today and talk about where these cards might kind of fall into play with people that are looking to upgrade and buy an enthusiast level GPU, whether it be from Nvidia or AMD. Now, chances are some of you may have already made up your mind as, I'm just team green or I'm just team red, one way or the other. But there are some people that just actually want to get whatever the best graphics card is and kind of put fanboyisms aside. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some things here today. We actually got a leak courtesy of LinkedIn, actually. This is over on hothardware.com. A couple other websites are covering it too, but we're sourcing this from Hot Hardware. There was actually a LinkedIn post from Nvidia which talked about a current upcoming job listing which pointed to the GTX 1080 Ti coming out at CES. The listing specifically says that one of them is ensuring that the GeForce GTX 1080 graphics card owners get first spot in line for 1080 Ti pre-orders or step-up offer. There's no mention of a launch date yet, but we are expecting Nvidia to make the announcement fairly soon. And with the, talking about that with the 980 Ti owners, that's also an interesting thing to bring up as well as part of a discussion, because I don't think I've really seen that before, where Nvidia would put previous gen graphics card owners ahead of other people to get in line with pre-orders. And if that's only going to be Nvidia specific cards, like if you ordered it directly from the Nvidia site, or if you bought on Amazon from like an EVGA model of 980 Ti or any of the aftermarket 980 Ti's, do you get first spot in line as well with Nvidia to get a graphics card? Those are the questions kind of playing around in my mind, because I do have one of my GTX 980 Ti's still kicking around here. It's in my brother's PC right now. I originally had two running an SLI, and I've got one left around. So if they're, offering some type of like a step-up program similar to EVGA's where you could trade it in and get a discount off the 1080 Ti, or just show them that you bought one so that you can pre-order ahead of other people, that would be really awesome too, because you guys have seen me in the past go and wait outside to get graphics cards at the likes of Micro Center, or spending extra money to order them off the Nvidia website on one-day shipping so that I can get these cards in as early to test as possible here on the channel. So that's something that definitely interests me. You can guys let me know down in the comments below if that interests you, especially if you're a 980 Ti owner and you're planning to upgrade. But we also wanted to talk about the Vega performance. If you remember last week, like I said, we saw it running at around, it was running mostly like up above 60 FPS, certainly at 4K, ultra settings on Doom, sometimes even getting into the 70s and low 80s on what I believe was the last mission of the game. But right now I'm going to be showing you some footage on screen of the Titan X Pascal graphics card running Doom at the insane settings, and you will be able to see in the overlay up in the top right corner, you can regularly see this going into the 80s, 90s, sometimes even just dipping over 100 FPS on Doom with the Vulkan API, like I said, 4K insane settings with Titan X Pascal. In the past, we saw the 980 Ti competing with the Maxwell Titan X, even a couple benchmarks actually even just beating it out, even though it had less CUDA cores, less video memory than the Titan X Maxwell card. But it was very close. Those cards were so neck and neck that the 980 Ti really was a much better buy, so that you didn't have to go out and spend $1,000 on a Titan X Maxwell card. And with Titan X Pascal being $1,200, certainly the 1080 Ti, if it's putting up the same type of comparable performance to this generation of Titan X, then it will probably be a better buy for gamers out there, considering how close they will likely be in terms of performance. And if they've got that 10 gigabytes of DDR5X like we had talked about in a previous leak a few weeks back, then it would certainly be a great card for gamers at hopefully a more affordable price. We talked about, what it could be. We saw on that shipment that it was, manifested it was coming up to close to a little over $1,000 when converted from, I believe it was Indian rupees over to US dollars, if I remember correctly. So yeah, we'll have to see what the prices are on these cards when they finally do come out. Probably sometime around CES 2017 is what I'm keeping my eyes on for Vega and 1080 Ti to be coming out at. But just looking at, like I said, these Doom performance numbers with Titan X Pascal versus the leaked Vega numbers, it would appear that the 1080 Ti might come out ahead of Vega. So that is kind of why I wanted to talk about this today, is that, Vega might be the best card coming out for AMD, but Nvidia is very likely just waiting in the wings with 1080 Ti as their direct answer to AMD to kind of steal that market share from the enthusiast market that AMD has already been missing out on for like the past 6 months, when they only came out with 460, 470, and 480, and Nvidia's already been sitting here with the 1070 and the 1080 on the market, and Titan X Pascal. So 1080 Ti could just really be the answer that Nvidia just is sitting on right now to compete with Vega, and with Vega just really edging out the likes of GTX 1080 and those leaked numbers that we saw. After the 1080's already been out for like 6 months. Granted, Vega doesn't have its optimized drivers yet and things, but AMD Vulkan, I should say, has proved to kind of favor AMD. Certainly getting its kind of its roots in Mantle, which was developed for AMD as well. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see, I guess, in January 2017 once these cards hopefully launch. But let me know down in the comments below what you are waiting for. Are you waiting for 1080 Ti, Vega? Are you going to get just the better of the two, or are you sticking with one side or the other, Nvidia or AMD? No matter what, and also price could come into play as well. If the 1080 Ti comes up close to that like $900 to $1,000 price range, like we might expect based on that shipping manifest, Vega might just steal the thunder when it comes to the price to performance ratio, which is certainly going to be an argument as well down in the comments, I'm sure, as what will be best for all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. Please let me know your thoughts, as always, down in the comments. I'll be down there for discussion with you. Be interested to see what your guys' feedback is on this with 1080 Ti and Vega probably just around the corner. And I will catch you guys next time. Ciao.